Hello everyone, I welcome you all again on our subject module titled as Services Marketing. This is Dr. Achal and we are dealing with the subject of services marketing. In our previous discourse, we have dealt with the concept of interactive marketing. Now in today's discussion, we will be moving on with the next topic and next a new concept that is all being talked of as a noble concept of the services arena. And we will be dealing with the concept of the tourism marketing, that is also being talked of as one of the sector which deals with the flotation of the abstractness, which deals with giving you certain kind of experiences, certain cherished moments to be enjoyed by you and to be treasured by you in your whole life. And because of that cherished moments and your cherished experiences, you are trying to go in for the enjoyment and you are trying to go in for the visiting of the same the same kind of offering is being used by you as a customer to get the delightment which you have made or which you have experienced in the earlier before. So, like this particular deliberation, that is the session of tourism marketing, here we will be talking of that what are the important characteristics that can be seen in the sector of the tourism marketing and what are the important challenges which is being borne by the marketers to be seen in this particular sector. So, moving on with the slide. Now, this is in a slide that is all being related with an introductory of the. ये बाबा move क्यों कर जा रहा है? So, now this slide is all about being related with an introductory part of the tourism marketing. This says that the services marketing, it encompasses a wide array of the sectors, each with the unique characteristics and the challenges. This slide delves into the specialized areas of the services marketing, focusing on tourism marketing, financial services marketing, not-for-profit services marketing, internationalization of the services, professional services marketing and the significance of after-sale services. Now, understanding these aspects is essential for the marketers to develop effective strategies tailored to the unique nature of the services. Now, this is all about the thing that is basically we are saying that either we are talking of with regard to tourism marketing or we are trying to talk of with regard to the financial sector or the non-profit organization, the services that is being undertaken by the professional bodies or the services that are in the form of the after sale services. Now, all these are the services, all these are the offerings which are basically very much being prominent enough in the intangibility aspect. Here we are limiting our discussion towards the tourism aspect and towards the tourism marketing, which is also one of the prominent area dealing with the intangibility and the abstractness in the case of the services arena. And we are seeing that it is very much being important enough for understanding these important characteristics of the tourism marketing in order to develop and in order to craft out the strategies that are very much being best suited for the audience, and then only the marketers and the organizations will be able enough to come out with a unique selling proposition, to come out with a unique distinct image in this competitive scenario. So, moving on with the slide. Now, this slide is all being talked of, it is being related with the tourism marketing, that is the characteristics of the tourism marketing. As we have already said that the tourism sector, it is also one of the important sector which are dealing with the abstractness, one of the important sector which are giving you certain kind of benefits and the efforts are being crafted by the marketers which are intangible, which are abstract and they are variable also. So, here in the slide this is all being related with the characteristics of the tourism product, and we know that in the case of the tourism the products may be in any of the form, and in the form of like if you are using all the products, here the products are basically intangible, the products are having all the characteristics of perishability, inseparability, heterogeneity, absence of ownership, seasonality of the product. It means that basically in case of the tourism sector, the products basically they are having out these important characteristics which we have earlier discussed before in our previous discourse when dealing with the concept of the services. We have said that the services, they are basically intangible, perishable, inseparable, they are heterogeneous, we are experiencing the absence of ownership. All these are the important characteristics of the services itself. So, here in the case of the hospitality sector, the products that are being floated by the hospitality sector, they are also a product, they are also an offering which are having these unique characteristics, that is the intangibility factor, the perishability, inseparability and heterogeneity factor. We know that the intangibility, it means that we are not being able enough to recognize with our sensory organs, we are able to experience, we are able to cherish the deeds, the efforts and the associations being floated by the marketers in the case of the tourism sector. Perishable is what is being related, that we as a customer, we are not being, or we as a marketer or as an organization, we are not being able enough to store out the efforts, the deeds and the associations, the offerings at a proper storage. Like we as a marketer, we are not being able enough to store it. If we are witnessing that there is not an adequate demand in the market area, we will not be able to just store it if the production is happening in the case of the tourism sector. So, this is a perishability factor, tend to get deteriorated because of the lackness of the storage facility, or this is a lackness of the this particular kind of aspect speaks of the fact that this perishability is there, an important characteristics in the tourism sector, wherein we are witnessing that we are not being able enough to store because of the this particular kind of perishability factor, because production is and consumption, they are happening at the same point of time in order to have that effective delivery process of the tourism product. Inseparability, the same thing, that is we as a service provider and the consumer and the customer should be at the same point of time in order to have an effective delivery process. The direct communication, the direct interaction should be there in order to have an effective and effective and responsive and diligent delivery process of the services. Heterogeneity, same thing, and the absence of ownership. We know that the services that is being offered by the tourism sector, they tend to get variability can be seen. It is not so that you have visited to a particular restaurant or a hotel and you have consumed the physical means and the decor, the ambience that you have experienced, or the waiting, the helping attitude of the waiter and the attendants, that will be same, or the services that is being offered by one particular attendant. In the next visit you have visited to the same hotel but and the restaurant, but you have got the experience from the other attendant that was not so well good. So, it means the heterogeneity factor will be there. Absence of ownership, definitely we are not dealing with the possession of the tangible goods. So, tangible evidences, tangible products are not there. So, definitely here we are experiencing that as the tangible goods are not being seen here in case of the tourism sector, there exists absence of ownership on the part of the consumers, because the abstractness and the deeds and the association, they are being cherished when the providers and the service providers are giving you that experiences, that events, that phenomena, that associations, production is being undertaken by the service providers, and you as a consumer, as a customer, you are definitely there at the same point of time. Simultaneous consumption is being done. So, there is a need wherein we are saying that as the product, as a tourism product, they are lacking out the tangible evidence. So, there is a prominent need that the absence of the ownership will be seen. Now, the seasonality of the product, very important characteristic of the tourism marketing, wherein we are seeing that in this tourism sector, there are certain kind of festive seasons, there are certain kind of festivals, or there are certain kind of spiritual places wherein particular destination is getting famous enough. There is a huge influx of the devotees to visit out to spiritual places. Then those places and those products or the offering that is being floated in those places will be, their demand will be high enough as compared to the non-peak demands that is being seen during the non-festive hours, during non-festive seasons. So, there is a seasonality of the product that is being seen in the case of the tourism sector. Now, this is all being, this slide is all being related with the characteristics of the tourism marketing. Further, it is being elaborated here in the slide that as the tourism is a significant sector within services marketing characterized by the intangibility, inseparability, variability and perishability. Unlike tangible goods, tourism experiences cannot be seen or touched before purchase, making promotional strategies vital. Tourism marketing primarily, it focuses on promotion destinations, experiences and hospitality services, emphasizing creating memorable experiences and emotional connections, utilizing visual content heavily, that is photos and videos, to showcase out the attractions, and deals with the seasonality and the global economic factors. Now this slide, it is being associated, it is talking of that the important characteristics of the tourism marketing, and it is being said that the tourism is an important sector in the services marketing. We know that as the services arena, they are being characterized by the important characteristics of the intangibility, inseparability, heterogeneity and variability. So in the cases of the tourism sector, all these important characteristics are being seen, and that is why there is a reason wherein we are associating that the tourism sector, which is in a very booming and sunrise sector nowadays in today's evolving world, we are associating that they are very much being pronounced enough to understand out the concept of they are an important example. We can say that this is an important sector to be quoted as an example to understand out the concept of the services arena. So we are saying that the tourism is an important sector within the services marketing, and that is primarily being characterized by intangibilities, inseparability, variability and perishability. Unlike tangible goods, tourism experiences cannot be seen or touched. Definitely, because of the intangibility, abstractness factor, our sensory organs, our receptors are not being able enough to recognize out this intangibility experiences. But what we can do is that we as a customer and a consumer, we are able enough to cherish the moments, to cherish the experiences, to assimilate out that beauty, the charisma, the versatility, the decor, the ambience, thematic representation, all these other moments that can be cherished, that experiences that can be treasured enough in the case of the tourism sector. So acting on the part of the marketers has to go in for the crafting out the good promotional strategies for the purpose of attracting out not only the customers, but it is equally being important enough for the service providers here to focus out their promotional strategies, to craft out their promotional strategies, not only for attracting and for moving in for the purchase process for the customers only, but for the society at large, so that they can be able enough to diversify out their portfolios, and the potential customers may be turned as present customers for them in the near future. So tourism marketing primarily focuses on promoting out the destinations, experience in the hospitality services. Definitely, it's an important ambit of the tourism sector. Further, we are seeing that the emphasis is being done by creating memorable experiences and emotional connection. So we as a provider, we are trying to craft an memorable experiences for the consumers, for the customers, and emotional connect is being created, it is being crafted, it is being seen, so that the customers are able to build up the good ties with you, and they are very much being assured enough, they are being associated enough to use out your services again and again in the near future. And that will also result into publicizing out your offerings, the good vibes, the good responses of your offerings in the form of the word of mouth publicity. Next, we are seeing that utilizing visual content heavily in the case of the tourism sector, which is very much being dealing out with an abstractness, which is very much being associated with an intangibility phenomena. So here the visual and the visual mode is more being pronounced, and we know that this visual mode is somewhat a factor that is more to be retained by us, because we human beings are 90% of the stimuli, they are being retained by the human memory, they are being retained by our cognitive process, which is in the form of the visual mode. So 90% of the stimuli that is being triggered in the form of the visual modes, either in the form of the effective advertisements, in the form of the effective posters and the layouts, if they are being crafted in a very diligent and in a very good kind of way, effective kind of way, then that will be retained by the customers and the consumers or the audience for a longer period of time, because they are getting supplemented with the help of some visual mode. So visual mode is more receptive to the sensory organs, and that is being reinforced and that is being recalled by the our memory again and again, if we are moving for the purchase process in the next discourse. So that retention is more being pronounced if the marketers are trying to use out with the help of the visual content. So that is heavily being used in the case of the in case of the tourism sector, to showcase their attractive, propositions. Third, we are seeing that it deals with the seasonality and global economic factors. Definitely, it is in a sector wherein the seasonal changes, the festive seasons, the tourism, this kind of thing, the spiritual vibes, they are very much being associated, or they are very much being related with the tourism sector, wherein if earlier we have said that if the festive season is there, if the spiritual phenomena are more being pronounced in a certain month, in a certain duration, then the influx of the devotees will be more towards a specific destination, towards a specific places for offering out their prayers, for the offering out their the devotees will be more in that particular season, in that particular duration, as compared to the other non-peak seasons or non-peak duration. So, it deals with the seasonality and the global economic factors. Definitely, it will be affecting them out, because here we are trying to move from one destination to another. In the case of the tourism sector, we are trying to visit out and we are trying to explore to the different destinations, to the different areas wherein we have not get in touch with earlier before. And even if you have visited to a specific destination, to a specific we have dealt with a specific tour place, even then if we want to visit again, then definitely the economic changes, the globalized scenario will be affecting us, our purchase process, or the way we are trying to amend our decisions to move out to a specific destination to get visited with. Now, this is in a slide that says that it's being led to the target markets, and here we are seeing that the tourism marketers, they must identify and understand the diverse target markets, including leisure travelers, business travelers and adventure seekers. Each segment has distinct needs and preferences, influencing the marketing messages and the channels. Now, this slide is talking of with regard to the target market. We know that it is an important duty of a marketer to undergo towards deployment of the strategy of segmentation, targeting and positioning. Segmentation is all being associated with trying to divide out your heterogeneous market area into some common grouping, keeping into consideration certain common homogeneous preferences, or the way the customers are moving for the purchase process, or keeping into account their demographic validation, or any kind of parameter can be chosen for the purpose of finding out a common resemblance amongst the divergent group of people who are there in the market area. So, this is a strategy of the segmentation. You are trying to divide out the whole market area, the whole heterogeneous market area into some common grouping. So, here the target markets, they are seeing out the fact that here, as an effective and proactive marketer, we have to identify and understand out the divergent heterogeneous needs and aspirations of the people, and they may be falling in the three of the categories. There can be an audience who are falling in the category of the leisure travelers. There may be people who are falling in the category of the business travelers. So, there may be another situation in which we are witnessing that the people are trying to visit to the different destinations and different places only for the sake of fulfillment of the adventure. So, the adventure seekers customers are there. So, three kind of customers can be targeted upon. Either we can have a leisure travelers, either can have business travelers who are moving for the one particular point of destination to the other place or to the other city for their tour, for their professional visits, for their business visits and the business deals. And the next category of the customer who are very much being inquisitive enough towards reaping out the moments of the challenges and the adventures. So, they are the adventure seeking customers. And as an effective as a proactive marketer, we have to take into consideration that all the three categories of the customers who are falling in the different spectrum of the customer zone, their needs and the preferences are different, their objectives are different. So, as a marketer, as they are having a distinct set of needs and the preferences, we as an organization, we have to craft out our messages, and the channels through which they have to be communicated with should be different enough, and that is very much being best suited to them. As we can take an example, that if the people are very much frequent flyers, they have to be given within a certain kind of discounts and the coupons, because they are the people who are very much being inclined enough to use out that to use out the executive class. So, as they are frequent flyers, the tourism sector can give them a discount and a certain kind of premiums to be offered because of their professional visits. Similarly, if the customers are falling in the category of the adventures, or they are just trying to visit out to a specified destination or a specified place, or for the purpose of seeking out the leisure, and they are very much being daring and challenging in, or daring and trying to explore and trying to seek out that particular kind of challenges in their personality, in their living style, then those categories of the customers should be given certain kind of discounts or the rebates, which is not very much being pronounced as compared to the frequent flyers, or as compared to the people who are very much on move for their professional reasons. So this kind of thing should be borne into mind by the marketers, that is, their messages to be personalized, their channels to be used, the promotional appeals to be crafted to them should be should be a different one. Next, we are seeing that marketing mix in tourism product. What is the marketing mix that can be used? Here we are seeing that the service offering includes destinations, attractions, accommodations and experiences. The very first is pricing. The pricing strategy varies with considerations for seasonality and competition. We know that price is the amount of money that is being paid by the consumer to the customers to lure or to use out the value, to use out the utility and the benefits of the particular offering. So here the pricing strategies, they vary with considerations for seasonality and competition. Definitely in the case of the tourism sector, we know that as it is more being associated with the seasonality factor, it is more being associated with a competition factor. So here the marketers are able enough to vary out or to fix out the prices of their offerings depending upon the peak seasons and depending on the non-peak seasons. Similarly, if the competition is very high and intense in the particular season, specified season, for a particular specified destination, the marketers are able enough to vary out the prices of their offerings depending upon this particular factor. Now, the place is all about related with the distribution channel. It ranges from travel agencies to online platforms. We know that place is all being associated in case of the tourism sector, that is that can be related within a distribution way, and how this particular distribution aspect can more be smoothened out in case of the tourism sector. Either we can have a virtual visit can be given to the customers who are making up their mind to go in for a specified hotel, to move in for a specified destination. A pre-recorded cassettes can be floated to them so that they can make up their mind and they can be able enough to gather out the information. They can be making up their mind to visit a specified place depending upon their preferences and depending upon their own discretion. So that can be that is basically being pursued by the travel agencies. Similarly, the promotion that can be of any form. We can be able enough to go in for the advertisement. We can be able enough to get in touch with the customers through public relations. Either in today's revolving world, we are more being inclined towards the use of the digital mode, and they are playing a crucial role in attracting out the customers. So as we are living in this very transformative society, in this very transformative world, so this transforming world, we as an organization, we can be using either to remind, either to attract, either to persuade out our customers through the traditional mode, that is advertisement, or we can go in for making an association. An assurance can be developed through the direct approach. The public relations media can be used, and the most prominently source in today's evolving world is the use of the digital media. So the digital marketing can be done, and it is prominently being done in today's changing scenario, wherein they are as a marketer and the organization, they are trying to get in connected with the audience in a more effective way, to attract them, to persuade them, to remind them, and to get associated with them continuously on a continuous basis, to develop out a habit of the reinforcement, so that they can be using out your offerings again and again by trying to get to have that habit of trying to create that habit of the learning mechanism. Now, this is the next entity, that is in the people. We are seeing that the staff training and the customer service excellence, guides and hospitality, customer interactions and relationship management. We know that people is also one of the important aspect in the services arena, and here the people who are working in the frontline manager, the people who are working as a frontline manager, the people who are working at the backend staff, their training and the motivation level should be given very intermittently. They should be trained enough, their motivation level should be strong enough. The psychological variables in terms of the attitudes, the the perception, the learning, the motivation, all these things should be diligent enough. Then only their optimism, the way they are seeing, how they are trying to deliver out the message, how they are trying to associate with the customers, how they are trying to behave with the customers, they are playing a very important role, because we already have said that the customers and the consumers, they are evaluating out the quality of their offerings with the quality of the way the people are trying to get in touch in the form of the frontline executives to the audience or to the customers. So they are trying to have they are trying to evaluate out the quality of your primary offerings with the way the frontline executives are trying to deal with the customers. So their what I want to say is that all these aspects, the psychological aspects of these people who are holding the frontline managers should be trained enough, should be motivated enough. And then if they are motivated enough and they are that particular kind of positivism, that particular kind of optimism will be it will be translated in their working procedure, and that positive vibes will be cherished by the customers to be talked of as a loyal customers and to be talked of as a worthy customers in the near future. So customer interaction, relationship management, already we have made an exhaustive discussion on that. Now the process, the booking reservation system, check-in and check-out procedures, tour operations and the itinerary management. Now this booking and the reservation system, we know that if you are moving in a specified place, how we are trying to get in touch with them, how we are trying to book the tickets, what is the reservation system, the process of checking in the hotels, how to have an effective delivery of the checkout procedures, itinerary brochures, itinerary management playing a very important role. Now these are the processes when a particular specified customer have made up their mind to visit a specified place, how much accessible they are to get their tickets booked, how much accessible they are to get their tickets confirmed, and if they are visiting to a specific hotel or restaurant, an easy process to visit or easy access to visit a specified hotel or restaurant. The check-in procedure is very beautiful, very easy and lucid one. The checkout counters and not an exhaustive one to talk of, not a very elaborate one and a detailed one, so that the customers are getting irritated or they are getting kind of frustration in their whole process. Similarly, tour operation and itinerary management should be diligent enough to give them a wholesome and to give them a productive response to the customers. Now this is a physical evidence. Physical evidence is all being related in the tangibility aspect, the tourism infrastructure, the cleanliness, the maintenance of the facilities, the signages and the wayfinding system. Now we know that for the purpose of supplementing the use of the abstractness, or for the purpose of supplementing the intangibility factors, we as a marketer, we are trying to tangibilize or taking the help of the tangible cues, and here in case of the tourism sector, we are experiencing that the use of the the signages, the boards, the proper layout system should be there. If you are visiting a particular restaurant, the cleanliness and the maintenance of that particular hotel should be there. A clean interior should be there. Similarly, the exteriors should also be good enough in terms of the product reviews which the customers have already given to their hotels. In terms of the proper, there should be a proper way to explore your restaurant or the hotels. The infrastructure should be good enough in terms of the golf facility, in terms of the clubs, in terms of the lounges, in terms of like giving them a scenic beauty and scenic view to the customers. The pools or the swimming pools can be done, the gyms can also be there. The common community centers should also be there, can be facility of gym or wellness center can also be there in your hotel. So all these are the things and the amenities apart from the basic amenities, the basic offerings which you are expecting as a customer from a particular hotel or a restaurant. All these are the amenities which are supplementing the cherishment, which are supplementing the assessment and the assimilation of the abstractness which you want to go in for after a visit in a particular hotel or restaurant. Now, what are the challenges? This was all about the important characteristics of the tourism sector. Moving on with the challenges, what are the challenges and the obstacles which this particular sector is undergoing in for? Let's see. So, the very first challenges are in the form of the seasonality factor, and it says that the fluctuations in the demand require marketers to develop strategies for off-peak seasons. We know that as the tourism sector, it is more being pronounced. So, the challenges in the tourism marketing, we know that as the tourism sector, it is more being pronounced with the association of the seasonality factor. So, here this seasonality feature or the factor, the unique characteristics in the tourism sector, it can be talked of as a challenge for the service provider, because we know that for the purpose of meeting out the excessive demand in case of the high peak season for visiting to a particular spiritual place or for visiting to a particular specified destination during a specified period. That is one of the important, an important challenges to be seen by the marketers, how to meet out with an excessive demand during a peak season, and what are the strategies that can be met, that can be crafted by the producers to meet out the excessive demand and to cope up with the excessive demand and to come up with a neutralization aspect in the off peak seasons. Now, the second one is in a competition. We know that numerous destinations are there vying for attention. Differentiation is the key. We know that as we are evolving in this competitive intense scenario, as we are experiencing a number of alternative brands, we are experiencing a number of alternative strategies, a number of alternative variants of the same offering. So, as a marketer, what are the uniqueness and distinct creative strategies that we are trying to go in for, so that the customers are more being lured and they are being attractive enough towards using our specific offerings. So, that is the key, wherein if the competition is intense, the tourism sector also has to craft such a strategy wherein they are coming out with a uniqueness and a distinct kind of way, and that will all go towards creating a unique selling proposition. Now, the next is all being related in a cultural sensitivity. Here the marketers must be aware of the cultural differences to avoid misunderstandings and enhance out the customer experiences. We know that in case of the tourism sector, it is very important enough to know out the psychological or psychographic variables in terms of the cultural beliefs and the artifacts and the cultural sentiments, which goes a long way towards building up a healthy relationship. So, as a marketer, as a proactive and an agile and a versatile marketer, we have to be aware of the cultural differences, the sentiments, the feelings, the beliefs, the attitudes of the people in a particular specified place at in a particular specified zone, and to craft out our strategies in terms of the 7 P's to be attuned with those sentiments, with those feelings, so that the customers they may not be in a position to develop any kind of misperception for your offering. They are not in a position to develop any kind of dissonance for up to the consumption and the use of your product. So, this was all about the tourism sector. I hope that you have understood the challenges, the important components of the tourism sector, the important features of the tourism sector, and what are the important challenges as a service provider this sector is trying to focus upon. So, this was all about in today's discussion. We will be moving on with the next topic in the next discourse. So, till then, stay safe and stay blessed. Thank you all for joining.